We're connected. All right, guys. How's it going? Chris, my man, on the other end in Madison, Wisconsin. Chris, how are we doing?
Doing phenomenal, man. Actually, had to tell you this. I didn't actually get to that movie the other night that we were talking about before.
Oh, why
Didn't
not?
get to the movie. The friends didn't want to go out that late, but apparently they want to go see a late one tonight. So I'm
So
going
you're
at
going to
9. I'm
another
going to a
movie?
movie today, apparently. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So I'll get to watch the Timberwolves game though, because it's a later one. So I'm excited. I got to sit down and watch the last one too fully, so I can give my full in-depth opinion.
I would love to hear that full in-depth opinion. I'm waiting to make sure our stream is live here. Um, but yeah, Chris, yeah, I mean, you could start off just what is the state of the Wolves right now? Because we had that huge game in Memphis, and then kind of a shitter against the Thunder. No Cat right now. What should everyone's mind be at right now?
Oh yeah, I forgot because the night we streamed last was before the Memphis game,
It was
right?
before the Memphis game, which
Yeah,
was
so
a great
I think
game.
we both predicted a good like bounce back game against them, and we did. We won. We forced over 20 turnovers, so that was really good. Hung in there at the end too, even without Cat. The Thunder game was complete different story. I think a lot of the problems that plagued them previously plagued them again in that game. It was the turnovers, lack of intensity, and not a lot of rebounding, not a lot of defense either. I think what the Thunder score like 130 something.
Yeah.
uh, you can't be letting up like 140 to the Hornets, 130 to the Thunder, 130 to the Wizards. Like these, again, like we talked about last week, these really crappy teams in the easy part of the schedule so far, we've given up tremendous amounts of points to, and it doesn't seem to be fixed yet. I think the constant lack of effort, I think, is pretty concerning to me. It kind of, this team kind of picks and chooses when they show up, and it makes sense. Like they show up for the national game on ESPN, but they don't show up for the regional game against the Thunder at 6. So I mean, this team's
And
got to show up for every single game, and I think they'll be fine. It's just they don't do that for some reason.
it's tough too because I think it's very centered around what Anthony Edwards does. And if he comes to play, the rest of the team comes to play. But if he doesn't come, I really think I don't know, because like that is why that game felt so different against the Grizzlies, because Anthony Edwards was being a dog like he was last year, and he was really bringing the intensity. He's making big plays, and then I don't know, man. The Thunder game was just so much different.
Uh yeah, the Thunder game and the Grizzlies game are very contrasting because I feel like I had some really good vibes coming out of the Grizzlies
Yeah,
game.
I
I
thought it
thought
was
I thought
over,
we
man.
were
I thought we were back. I thought the Wolves were back. I wasn't worried at all. And then now I'm kind of in the same spot. I'm like, I don't know.
but you could look at this on the bright side. In about 20 minutes we get to play the team I think we had our best game of the season against in the Indiana Pacers, but the other side of that is it's very hard to beat a team, twice in a row, especially in a short period of time. So I think it's going to be a tough game tonight. I really do. I don't. What's your prediction? Non-biased prediction on this one.
Non-biased. I mean, the Pacers have kind of been putting together a pretty good season. They have a better record than us. Tyrese Halliburton having a phenomenal season. Miles Turner, the guy that we always talk about that we're supposed to be getting, he's having a good season. I don't know. I really, Chris, I unbiased. I would say this is going to be a pretty damn close game, and I'd maybe give the upper hand to the Pacers. Um,
Okay.
but I hope we can come out. I think we'll know very quickly what Wolves team is showing up tonight.
I wonder if the G League leading scorer is going to get any minutes tonight
See,
against the Pacers.
that is a great topic because I feel like Timberwolves Twitter is acting like Luka Garza is the second coming of Jesus, the second coming of Kareem, which I know he's a good player. He's a great player. I'm an Iowa State fan. I've been watching him. He's tore my teams apart for the last couple of years. But I don't know. I don't know if he would have that big of an impact in the actual NBA, but I would love to see him. I'd love to at least see him get a shot.
Is he kind of that comparison to like we often talk about quad A
He's a
players in
quad A
baseball? How
player.
like they're just Jake Cave's a phenomenal triple A player, but you bring him up to the MLB and they suck. But if there was a quad A league, they'd just fit in perfect. Is
Too
Luca
good.
maybe a
He's too
example of
good for the
that?
G League because he's just so big and he's so polished. Like he is literally So some players are like, oh yeah, they have so much potential. Luka Garza has no potential, I don't think. I think what he is right now is the best possible player that he could ever be for who he is, just with his size, with his athletic ability. I think he is maxed out. I think there's no room for growth. I think that he is the best. He's worked his way up to being at his peak. And I just don't know if that's good enough to be a contributing center in the NBA, but I would love to see if it would work. At least give it a shot, because you can't put up 44 points, I think it was, in a game. If you're scoring 44 points in a competitive professional league, you should at least get a shot. And especially with the way the G League works with the NBA, how you can just move guys that back and forth, I think it would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think too with Miles Turner. I mean, Rudy doesn't play too well of defense on guys that can stretch the floor. So, when Nas needs a breather or if Rudy gets his sixth foul, I mean, I think Luka Garza would have to be the guy to play some defense on Miles Turner. And I think a development in Luka's game since we watched him in college, I think, is the 3-point shot. He's shooting in the 40% down in Iowa. If he can shoot in the 40% on like 4 or 5 attempts a game, there's definitely a spot on this team for him. If Naz Reid ends up leaving in free agency this offseason or if another injury happens. I mean, I think Luka could find his way some minutes on this team. Again, I think you made a good point. I think Luka's the very definition of a high floor, low ceiling player. I think we know what he is for the most part. It's just that 3-point shot that is kind of the determining factor of whether he could, hang with the NBA bigs. But also another acquisition we got to talk about.
Yep. I just saw this like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, it happened yesterday. The Lakers released Matt Ryan after their game, and the Timberwolves picked him up pretty fast, signed him to a 2-way contract, and released AJ Lawson, who got like 2 minutes in a block game once. He was averaging 19 in the G League. So, I mean, I kind of liked AJ Lawson. He was a guy who was on the summer league team, good 3-point shooter, but I don't know, man. What do you think of Matty Ice? I know he had a game winner with the Lakers.
I saw that live.
Pretty well.
I saw that live. I mean, he's just a shooter. He's a gym rat. I'm sure he's in the gym all the time. I'm sure he's already in the Minnesota. He's already in the gym just putting up shots. Is he the leader? Is he the guy that's going to be able to bring this team some hard work ethic? Is he going to be able to show him? Because there's no way that guy. Where is he from? Where did he go to college? Do we have any? No. Let me do a quick Matt Ryan Google. Matt Ryan.
I know
NBA.
the Lakers fan. The Lakers fans kind of joke around. He's like an Uber driver.
Driver? Was that even? That's
like
just his thing.
They're like, who's gonna deliver my food now that he got released? They like call him an Uber driver.
Disrespectful, man.
It's so
disrespectful.
Random. I know it is disrespectful. They don't deserve it.
He's from Tennessee, Chattanooga.
Okay.
Undrafted. He's got 1 year of experience. 25 years old. I mean, this guy's a dog, Chris. He's literally named Matt Ryan.
What's he shooting? What's he shooting from three?
I mean, yeah, and with a team where we're just really struggling to have shooting, it's he's averaging 3.9 points. He's shooting 37% from three, which is solid, I think.
Yeah, I mean, this move probably does not mean a single thing, but it's also fun just to get some new players in and out, new faces, new guys getting called up. So I know Luka's up for this game, and AJ Lawson was supposed to be. So maybe Matt Ryan takes the spot. I think Matt Ryan and Luka would probably be up tonight. I know Luka for sure.
Because Finch when asked, he said he wished he would have played Garza or Nate Knight in the Oklahoma City game. So at least now he's aware of it. And I think just the way that Finch has been is usually when he talks about something in a post-game press conference and when he realizes he does something wrong, he really focuses on that the next game. For example, Naz Reid. When Naz Reid did it DNP and he talked about it in the post-game press conference, Naz Reid played about 22 minutes the next game. So I think he's very intentional with what he says and then how he reacts to that and how he coaches the next game. So if my money was on the line, I would say Luka Garza is going to get some clock tonight.
Okay. I got another guy that's going to get a lot of clock tonight.
Hey, don't say it. Let me see if we're thinking about the same person. Are we talking about Wendell Moore?
We are talking about
Let's
Wendell
go,
Moore.
bro. We're on the same page.
My new favorite player on this basketball team.
I love him
Let
too.
me tell you.
I love him.
I wasn't too sure about the draft pick at the time. I think a lot of people thought he could have been a second rounder, but we get him late first. And I think the cool thing is the game we were doing the live stream for last week was kind of his little like breakout game. Like he played really good defense on Ja, moved the ball. I think kept the rotations nice while we had a few
Yeah.
guys out. Like Wendell Moore was some glue in those ever changing rotations. And then he got to start the next game too. Showed us a little 3-point shooting. Showed us a little playmaking ability. And I hope he builds on that this game. I think he could be the future point guard, which would be awesome if we could have like a really smart playmaking two-way point guard that can play really good defense and lock down, a star one or two. And I think who knows? Who knows? Tim Connolly has a good track record of getting guys in the late first and second. So maybe he's that guy.
I love it. I love his story. I just love how he was barely getting minutes. Like I think he probably had less than 10 minutes the whole year before he started. And I think he found out 30 minutes before the game that he was going to start. It's not even like, hey, coach walks up to you, hey, man, we're going to get you some clock, be ready to play. It's like, hey, no, you're starting today. So I don't know if that's intentional. Is Finch doing that just because, like, I feel like for me, if I'm a rookie, haven't played much, haven't proved myself at all, really, and coach just comes up to me the day before, like, hey, you're starting tomorrow, I don't think I'd sleep much.
And you're guarding Ja Morant.
And you're guarding Ja Morant. I wonder, the foul merchant himself, I'm wondering if Chris Finch did that on purpose. Like, all right, you know what? I believe in Wendell. I don't want him overthinking this. Let's just tell him 30 minutes before. And maybe he's like,
I think that's probably exactly right. I think they probably knew that was the game plan going in, but they didn't probably want to stress him out having to guard Ja Morant in his first career NBA start. But the dude held him to 24 points on 20 shots.
Yeah,
believe.
I mean,
so I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah, so
That's
I mean,
really
another
good.
thing is like that also shows right there. If that's the case, if they're like, okay, we're gonna give him 30 minutes notice, that means they know he was prepared. So that means this guy's preparing for every game like he's a starter, and they trust that, they see that. I mean, come on. I mean, this guy is exactly what you want in a player, exactly what you want in a role player, and I already can tell just the way that his teammates react, because like. An unproved rookie coming in and starting over you, if you're Jalen Noel, if you're Naz Reid, these other guys who could have started, they don't seem, there's like no bad blood. It doesn't seem like it. Obviously, they're probably a little upset, but they already have that respect for him. Like he deserves that.
Yeah, and I think it just works really well having Ant at the 3-2 and be able to expose some of those slower forwards in exchange for putting another guard in the lineup who can do some more moving the ball, which I think has been a little bit of an issue plaguing the Wolves. So I think having, Ant, D'Lo, and Wendell starting with, Jaden's been out, but either Jaden or Kyle at the 4 and Rudy at the 5 has really, I think, opened up a lot more things on offense, especially shooting wise. I know the makes still aren't there yet, but I mean, we've been getting the looks I think that Finch has wanted. So I think that's been a really awesome addition so far by Conley. I hope Wendell pans out. He wasn't a super young guy coming out of college. He's a junior, I believe. Had a really nice tournament. Had a couple really big shots in the semifinal. They ended up losing that game to Carolina, but Wendell Moore was huge in that game, and he was kind of he was all around really good on that, again, phenomenal Duke team that had a lot of talent. So I think it's cool. It's a cool story. I hope he keeps it up tonight. I think somewhere in the range of like 10 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds is good defense. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, and then speaking of things we love to see, D'Angelo Russell, I think he definitely in the Memphis game, he played better. He had a better stat line. I don't know what his exact stat line was in the OKC game, but I think overall, as a whole, he's starting to go in the right direction. I saw some stats of his first 10 games and his second 12 games or something, and his numbers are starting to get kind of where we wanted them to be at the beginning of the season, like 7 assists, 15 points, just kind of, I think he's not getting enough credit for how he's turned it around, because he started off the season horrible, just terrible, and I think he's really done a good job turning it around. So I do like to see that out of D'Angelo Russell.
Some shout outs to D'Angelo Russell from you.
Yeah, I hate the way this the culture is nowadays, man. You love it when someone's doing bad. Hey, another example is Russell Westbrook, Chris. He's having He's
He
been
has been
playing
good.
solid, and you don't hear anything about it. There's
You
not a
know who's
peep.
been really great on the Lakers is he just had to leave the game yesterday, but AD has been phenomenal the past 10 games,
The
and it
Lakers,
kind of shut everyone up.
if we end up having to play in like the play-in game or something, if we end up drawing the Lakers in the playoffs, like I'm not going to be happy by that at all. Like I would never want to play against a LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and especially when Russell Westbrook's playing good team like that. It's just not someone you want to play against.
And the status of the Western Conference right now kind of allows for that to be a possibility, especially in the play-in when you have, 12 of the 15 teams are in or so the Suns have the number one record right now. We're 5 games out in the 11th seed. And I think most teams from the 2 to the 12th seed, if I saw this correctly, are within 2 games of each other. So the Western Conference is still super tight, super up for grabs. A lot of teams are beating up on each other right now in the West. There's a lot of good teams. The Kings are 4th overall in the West at the moment. So, I mean, this is not going to be easy again this year. We said it was hard last year, but we said before the season it was going to be even harder this year. There's a lot of teams that are competing for those, especially top 6 spots, but, having at least getting into the play-in. So, I mean, it's not going to be a cakewalk for this team. If they keep playing like they are right now, they're going to be out of the playoffs, which would be a disaster.
A disaster. Just an absolute disaster. As Doogie, I think Doogie's right now, he's off the bandwagon right now. We got to get him back on sometime soon, but I don't think he's too fond of the old.
Yeah, I've been listening to a little bit of Dewey lately on Score, and he's been talking about it's been a train wreck and stuff, and there's been some talks inside.
I heard some blaming going on in the
some finger pointing.
finger pointing in the front office. Chris, a guy I want to talk about, someone I'm very intrigued by, Benedict Mathurin, dude. I freaking love watching this guy. He's electric. He is electric, dude. What do you think about him, and how the hell was he not?
Well, he was my number one. Like, I wanted him in the draft really bad. And I think that was a lot of Timberwolves fans, but we knew he wasn't going to fall to our pick. I mean, what were we at? 19? He was not going to fall to 19.
Didn't he get picked like 4th or 5th or something?
I think he went 8th.
Let's look it up.
Look it up. Look it up to be sure. He is an absolute stud. I think the Pacers have a really, really cool young core with I really like Duarte too. You remember him from last year, the shooter? Chris Duarte, Tyrese Halliburton. You got Mathurin now. I mean,
he went 6th overall.
6th overall. Miles Turner's healthy.
Dude, they remember
it's a good team.
Remember 2 years ago how scary the Pacers were to play against when they had Sabonis, Brogdon. That was just the worst team to play against because they were so fundamentally sound. And I think they're still kind of like that. Tyrese Halliburton, Iowa State guy. I honestly was never a fan of him at Iowa State. I didn't really like how he played. I thought he played a little too flashy. Jump shot was ugly. I never was a big fan. But Chris, I mean, he's averaging 19 and 10 and 11 right now. So you can't.
He is good.
2 steals.
And I think that trade was an interesting one, the Sabonis for Halliburton one. Obviously, there were some picks and other players in there, Buddy Hield. But I think that trade actually ended up being pretty even. I know a lot of people said the Pacers won that trade by a mile, and Tyrese Halliburton looks awesome. But like I just said, I mean, the Kings are 4th in the West right now and playing some really good ball with Fox and Sabonis. So, I mean, it was a good trade. I think both franchises were in different spots at the time. The Kings really just wanted to get into the playoffs, and the Pacers were looking to retool a little bit. And I think the Pacers retooled a little bit faster than even they thought they were. So, yeah, that's going to be a playoff team in the East. I don't know what seed they're going to be in, but they will be a playoff team. They play hard, they play good defense, and they can shoot.
So what I think, from what I remember when that trade went down, it was kind of like they either had to choose between De'Aaron Fox or Tyrese Halliburton because they didn't work together, and they chose De'Aaron Fox, and then they built around De'Aaron Fox. And it looks like, for both teams it worked out. Chris, as I look at their stats, man, they have 4 players averaging above 17 points. Have you ever seen that before?
Mathurin, Halliburton, Turner, and
Buddy Hield.
Really? How much is Buddy averaging?
Oh, he's averaging 16.9, so I said above 17, but I mean above 16.9. But, dude, that's I don't think I've seen that ever. 4 guys averaging above 16. I mean, maybe I just haven't been looking, but
aren't the Wolves doing that right now?
They might be, and this could be just one of the worst blunders of all time.
Well, I wonder what Gobert's averaging. Gobert's probably got to be around 15, 16 right now, I
But
bet.
should I mean, do we just
I
take
think
them?
we have talked about the Pacers a little bit the past few games. Let's focus on some players now, and I think Gobert should be the first one to be talked about because I think the past week since we've talked, I think Gobert's had a pretty rough 2 game stretch. I mean, he got ejected in one of them and he fouled out in the other. So I mean,
Yeah, I mean, is that really a rough?
that's tough. And I mean, Gobert should be better without Cat, right? Gobert should
Right.
be a higher usage player. The offense should look a little different. He should be getting more rebounds, I feel like, than he is. I don't know, man. I don't know. That's
It's
something
just
needs to improve there. He's not blocking enough shots as he usually does. So I mean,
what just makes it so hard for me is like you look at Donovan Mitchell, who completely
yeah.
turned the Cavs franchise around, and didn't they trade less than what we traded?
A little bit, yeah. I think they gave up 4 firsts. I mean that Cavs team is just
It's just
gonna that Cavs team is gonna be a title contender. I shit you not. They play really good basketball, especially when everyone's healthy there. They got just outside guys that don't even really matter too, like the ones like what's his name? Levert can give you Levert can give you buckets every night. Okoro is a good defender. He was from the Anthony Edwards draft class. They got a good squad. And they traded away Sexton and
Lowry,
Lowry.
marketing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough when you look at them and they completely are a title contender. They gave up a lot of assets, but they're getting a lot in return. And then for us, our guy is just he's I mean he just doesn't do much out there. And like I guess it's hard when you get ejected and when you foul out because obviously you're not able to play the full game. But the more
I
and
will
more,
say to this day right now, I would have taken the DeJounte Murray package of 3 firsts that the Hawks gave up, or I would have taken the 4 firsts for Donovan Mitchell, I think.
even though that wouldn't make much sense,
It
Donovan,
wouldn't, but I feel like
this
we'd have
doesn't
more
make much sense
spacing and
either.
more playmakers.
You
Yeah,
just,
this
yeah,
doesn't make sense at the moment either. We have 2 bigs, and one of them's hurt now. I don't know, man. Like I think this team now. There's been some theories out there that Connolly's playing like 3D chess, and he unloaded Rudy just so he could offload Cat for the same amount of picks so he could retool the team. I don't really believe in that. That would be a wild theory if that actually was true.
that's just someone who's upset about the pick, trying to make it.
I just think it hasn't worked. It's okay so far to say it's been an utter disaster because it has. There's no way around it. We said we'd give him 20 games. We gave him 20 games. So far, it's been a disaster. We have a losing record through the easy part of the schedule.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong at all in saying that it's been horrible. It's not been fun to watch. We haven't been winning games. Gobert has not been great. Averaging 13 and 11. It just sucks. It's tough. And Chris, going to our earlier point, we only have 2 players averaging above 17 points.
Ant and Cat.
And Cat.
What's D'Lo at? Like
15.
15?
Yeah.
Oh,
So that's what I'm saying. They have 4 guys averaging above 17 points, and we have 2, and one of them's
you know
not
who's
playing.
really going to have to step it up? I think if this franchise is going to head in the right direction, I think it's the guy we talk about a lot. But Jade McDaniels needs to turn into a good player. I think for this franchise to go the right way.
Yeah, he's
'Cause, I
kind of
mean,
he's a good
people
player.
People are just talking about giving him like you know the 4-year $25 million contract like it's nothing. I'm like to get that $25 million. So Jalen Brunson just got a 4-year $25 million contract, and Jalen Brunson I think is at least a level above Jade McDaniels in production. At least
He's a franchise type player, man.
Jaden's got to develop more on the offensive end. I think.
But again,
I love him defend. I do love like he is a. Do not take this as I'm hating on Jaden McDaniels at all. I'm just saying, if this team is going to go anywhere, he needs to be a $25 million player. I think.
yeah. I don't know.
So.
He always has this weird illness that happens at the beginning of the seasons. Last couple of years at least he's had that, so it takes a while. He really must get wiped out by illnesses. I guess because he's just very
So skinny, man.
He's so skinny, but like usually when someone has a sickness, it's like they're sick and then they come back. But for him, it's like
He must
sick,
have the flu or something.
and then he has to like rebuild his whole body, and it's like a 3-week process, and then he comes back.
A guy I kind of was getting on Twitter about actually, Jalen Noel, I thought has been really good the last 2 weeks. He's kind of doing the things I wanted him to do. He's shooting the
Maybe he's
ball less
watching
and
your. Maybe he's
playmaking more.
reading your tweets, man.
Maybe, man. I'm so proud of him, dude. That was awesome. I was like, I think a lot of people were disappointed in him in the first month. He kind of just turned it around once, some of the players got injured. I think he was able to go into high usage Jalen mode. So
Which
that
is
was kind of
why
cool.
I still think that he would be good on a different team with a way higher usage rate. Because he's one of those guys. He needs the ball. He needs time, and he'll perform. But when he's coming in like playing scared or playing tentative, I think that's when he struggles.
He's
And
just
that's
been he's been hitting the three more lately. I think that's huge for him. We all know he can get to the basket and hit the mid range, but if he's hitting the transition 3 pointers or off the ball,
he
it's
had one. I think he in the Memphis game. Ant had like two really great plays back to back, and then they went on the fast break. It was Jalen Noel and Ant, and I was like, all right, got to be a lob, you got to get the
yeah.
ball to Ant here. Like, let's see what he can do. And then Jalen Noel just pulls up, fast break three, and I'm like, no, and then he makes. I'm like, oh, nice shot. Just
Jalen. This is my biggest knock on Jalen Noel's game. He legitimately does not pass the ball to the open man. Like on a fast break, 99% of the time he will not pass the ball. He will take the layup himself. I don't know if that rubs people the wrong way, but I
I,
swear to you, every single time he does not find the open man.
I think that's what makes him like in a weird way. I think that's what makes him such a
Him?
good player. Yeah, because like he is just so aggressive, he's so decisive. I think a lot of players struggle with being indecisive, especially Jaden McDaniels, Ant sometimes. But Jalen Noel, he catches the ball, he knows exactly what he's doing. It doesn't matter. He doesn't read. He's like a quarterback that doesn't call audibles. It's just boom. He just does it. He just does it. Whatever he initially thinks, that's what he does. He trusts his instinct. So
All right. So as game time approaches here, I think we did this last time. We tried to predict some stat lines. Let's give me stat lines for Ant, Rudy, and Wendell Moore tonight. I want to hear your three stat lines on those guys. Ant, Rudy, Wendell Moore.
I'm gonna write it out just to.
Gotcha.
All right. So for Ant, I think Ant's been hearing the JJ Redick slander, or as you'd call it, or JJ Redick has been saying he would take Tyrese number 1 overall in the 2020 draft, which I don't know if that's because Tyrese comes on his show all the time or what, but so that's immediate slander at Ant. So I think Ant's taking it personal. I'm gonna say 31 points.
Okay.
Big game for Ant. 31 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. Overall, nice game.
That'd be a good game. That'd be a good game.
Rudy Gobert, I'm going to give him 12 points. 12 points, 14 rebounds,
Okay.
2 blocks. And then
That'd be really nice.
Wendell Moore, I'm going to give him 4 points, 3 assists. That's it.
Okay. I like that. Actually, I forgot to mention this, but Tyrese Halliburton had his worst game of the season against the Timberwolves because he was in the McDaniels torture chamber the entire game. So look to see that this game. I think
I
that's
hope
gonna be
so.
really fun.
I like I said, man, I can't. For some reason, I'm a big Iowa State fan, and for some reason I just could never stand Tyrese Halliburton. I never.
Is it the shot? Is it the shot for him? Is that what gets you?
No, I think what it was is just so many times where he was on the fast break and he'd do a behind the back pass that would go out of bounds when it was just unnecessary. And he was also on the same team as what's THC
Taylor Horton Tucker.
Yeah, and like they didn't do shit. There was one of the worst Iowa State teams. When you have 2 NBA players like that, they should be doing something. So I don't know. I just never loved him. I didn't think he made the team that much better.
Tyrese Hunter wasn't on that team, was he at that time?
Tyrese
Was
Hunter.
that or who's the freshman kid? He wasn't on that team, wasn't he? Hunter.
Tyrese Hunter. That name. Don't talk about him. He's dead to me.
He transferred, didn't he?
Transferred to Texas.
With Marcus Carr.
Yeah, dude. They're one of the best teams.
They are. I think they're number 2 or 1. I think. I didn't know that. Huh.
Yeah, he fucking transferred to an interconference team. But there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that a lot of people don't know about Tyrese Hunter. He has both of his parents have passed away. He's kind of supporting his family, so if he's got to go somewhere and get that NIL money, very understandable. Why wouldn't you, right?
Why not, man? Why
But
not?
it's hard when
Hey,
he won Rookie of the Year in the Big 12 last year and then left. And we were one of the
he's
only
from
teams.
Wisconsin, isn't he?
Yeah, we were one of the only teams that bet on him. Like, I don't think Wisconsin offered him a scholarship.
Wisconsin just had 2 dog point guards come out. If they had Tyrese, and wasn't Halliburton a part of Wisconsin? He was
Yeah,
a
he's
Wisconsin
also a
kid,
Wisconsin guy. Yeah, the Iowa State-Wisconsin connection. So
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. I've never been a big Tyrese Halliburton guy. I don't like the JJ Redick, just dick sucking.
That might be the most. Is that the worst word ever said on this podcast? For the
It might be, but it's just so.
Listen?
It's just how could you possibly say that you would take Tyrese Halliburton over Anthony Edwards or LaMelo Ball for that? I don't understand that at all.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
All right, let's hear what you got. What do you got, Anthony Edwards?
Anthony Edwards, I got a big game too. I got 34, 6, and 6. And when I predicted he was going to have a big game last time, he delivered it against Memphis. So I was proud of that prediction. I'm going to go 34, 6, and 6.
Okay. So we're both in the same ballpark here. He's going to have a big game either way.
Big Rudy's going 15-15.
So we're kind of at the same there as well. How many blocks?
And my guy Wendell, 13 points, 6 assists,
okay,
3 rebounds, and 2 steals. He better be starting tonight. I was just about to check the lineups.
Yeah, let's check that lineup for you. But, I mean, that's a career game for him.
That would be a career game.
Because what's his career high, 4?
I think it's 10, isn't it?
I don't know.
He's only played 2 games.
Yeah.
Go to Timberwolves PR quick. I know the game's probably already started, everyone. Okay, I may rescind that prediction. The starting lineup tonight is Russell, Edwards, McDaniels, Anderson, Gobert.
Which I like that lineup a lot.
I do as well. So instead of doing prediction, you already did a prediction that's probably going to be accurate. I think 4 points. I think that's pretty accurate.
Because he's going to have to play now, right? He'll still get some clock.
Yeah. So I'll do Kyle Anderson. Kyle Anderson's going to give me 7, 5, and 5 rebounds, 4 assists. 7 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists.
All right, fair enough. We'll see how those turn out. It's kind of fun. It kind of gives you, it's like fantasy. It gives you something to.
Yeah, it is. We were talking about getting on that. We actually got to do some picks, I think, for next live stream. That'd be fun. We'll do
Prize
some
picks?
pregame picks. Yeah, we'll do some pregame prop picks. That could be good.
Yeah, we got to get in our bag with this pregame show. I think what we'll do is I think I'm going to bring my camera and all that home.
Yes.
And you get home on the 16th, right?
Around then, either the 16th or the 17th.
So, I mean, we got some time. We got some time to do some in-person videos.
Are these guys on national television tonight?
The Wolvies?
I'm not seeing it on Bally. Maybe I'm just
Tweaking?
Yeah, Michigan State versus Penn State, Hawks, Knicks.
No, it's not on national TV.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think it is. Can someone tell us in the comments? Maybe
not
I'm
not many people to be in the comments right now.
I got Cornell against Miami at the moment on Bally.
That is tough. You hate to see that.
Yeah, I don't understand there. All right, I'll go find it in a little bit. But I think this is a good time. Sign off. We appreciate everyone joining the live stream, still in here. Go Timberwolves. Let's get a dub tonight against the Pacers.
All right. See you guys.
Is that one